Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on November 13th, 2025. You're live with Doug and Quinston. We're here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and generally just make sure that you get the best out of TimeBolt. Today, I'm really excited. This is a brand new feature that we get to release that is 91% accurate at finding bad takes. I just never knew this level of automation was possible with waveform cuts and our transcription type service. When you combine the two, the level of accuracy and quality of the cuts is unmatched when it comes to any automation software. So looking forward to showing you that. We're testing right now at I've said this a couple times, 19% above what the only other competitor that offers bad take removal, 19% more accurate cuts and more accuracy at removing bad takes than the closest competitor. So, and when you have scripted video, with unscripted videos, you got problems with ums, ahs, word stutters, you tend to repeat yourself. Well, that isn't the case. With scripted videos, you have none of those problems, but what you do have, unless you're going to restart 30 times, is a lot of retakes and redos of lines that you're reading off a script. So that's an entirely different problem to solve, and which we have now solved it. Raw file. So what you're going to do is just throw your raw file into TimeBolt as normal. All these silences are auto-detected, and it's our ability to combine these waveforms with the AI tech with the AI transcriptions that really give us our quality boost. All we're going to do before we do anything is just make sure obviously our silence detection settings are right, which these are. Okay, this is exactly what I tested. Now what we're going to do, we're going to run UmCheck. Now we got the silence detection settings. I'll hit run UmCheck and it will automatically populate after it goes through our transcription service, but I already have a file. And the way this is set up, once they're saved, this is how you go ahead and load an existing UmCheck file. It's going to be the exact same file that I would get by running UmCheck. I just saved it. You can save your UmCheck file right here. So if you have to go away, open up do this project at some other time, you'll always have your UmCheck file, and our logic runs on top of that. So no matter what updates we do, your UmCheck file is going to be what you use. You're not going to have to update this. So basically, it's so damn simple. Like you almost have to I'm just hitting run false start detection, which checks for word repeats. Okay, looks like there are 3 filler words. It's typically the only reason we have filler words is because I'm saying UmCheck and that counts as an So it's because of our feature actually has the word in it. And if I didn't want to do that, I could easily just delete it here and it wouldn't show up. Okay, but you run false start detection, run retake detection. With this, you can see that this is basically your tolerance level. So if I'm looking 5 lines ahead or 50 lines ahead, you can see the number and values increase. We actually did this specifically for this file because by looking at a few lines ahead, you'd be able to say something like, "That's right, Loom," and then something like, "That's right, what is TimeBolt?" And it wouldn't count these two as the same. Basically, with a tolerance level of 5, I'm able to now just do turn off selected words. You don't have to worry about this remove non-human sounds clips from timeline. This is more if you're like talking in front of a jet engine, okay? Just focus on this, turn off selected words. I wish fireworks would happen, but it completely takes the last take that you had, says has the best take, and it just operates flawlessly. But check this out.
And Sean from Miami, the question is, if your deck puts them to sleep, this tool puts them in a coma. That's right, Loom. Okay, Sean, watchability for 600. A daily double. This software will make people disappointed to meet you in real life. That's right. What is TimeBolt?
This tool is a lifesaver.
When you record a video, people lean in. Your words carry weight.
Can you believe that? Look at all this here.
But mine don't. Loom is painful to watch. Grant nailed it. Here's why the world needs Sean's rule in 90 seconds. This is
so it's absolutely incredible that this just picks out all the bad takes. And I'm literally showing people like what we removed. So I had a bunch of dead air that shows the comparison between the two. I still have mine. I try to get one in front of the arch.
Gets the point across. The other kills my credibility. TimeBolt's technology cuts different by waveform, like you hear.
Now you have a perfectly cut timeline. We have zero. What's really nice about this is that you would have a problem with accuracy if you were cutting out too much of the timeline. Okay, like if it cut out essential parts. Over every single test that we've run, it maintains, it doesn't produce any negative cuts. It doesn't remove stuff that should be there. It might leave a couple things in because you've stated it wildly different, a couple different ways, right? But that still allows you the time. You're going to have to watch your content once. Still allows you the time to go back and make any fine-tune adjustments, but it's not like, oh, I missed an entire segment. All you're basically doing now is you go through, you check, you put this at 1.5x speed as you preview.
Sometimes AI, you can preview up to 4x speed. Keystroke, not a mouse. That's fast. Come down here, turn on turbo, talk 12% faster, and still keep the same voice. Click this link, send as a banger with gift. as an unlisted link with GIF preview. In fact, this video was recorded, edited, and shared.
See, that was the only out of this entire segment, because I said these line entirely different. I would just basically hit back cut BB, back cut, and I'll hit the U just to kind of go back a little
Still
bit.
keep the same voice. Click this link, send as a banger with GIF. In fact, this video was recorded. In fact, this video was recorded, edited, and shared entirely in TimeBolt. Pin it, John, pin it, make it a house rule. John, pin it, make it a house rule. No TimeBolt banger, no video pitch. Let's make founders unstoppable and smarter than real life, faster than they record. I'm out of time.
That is how you quickly cut up a scripted timeline and then export, or just export into Final Cut Pro, or just export. This video was just exported right from TimeBolt. And before I do that, now that we have the word token level transcripts, I can also now, before I export, or after all my cuts are made, I can export this as an SRT file, okay? And this SRT file, I can then use to put inside Final Cut or Captions or CapCut that give you time-stamped word token level SRTs. So you have captions that actually have punctuation, capitalized. That just saves a boatload of time going back and having to make any updates. And especially for the longer format content, whether you're using UmCheck for removing ums and ahs or retakes, you're going to want to use that SRT file to upload into YouTube for their SEO value. Just go ahead and upload that captions file. Does anybody have any questions?
I think one thing to mention is that it treats the last cut as the final cut that it keeps in the file. It's not the longest cut. It's not the cut that has the most words. It's the last cut. So it's very important that you make sure that the last cut is the best if you're using this particular piece of. One more thing is that this is specifically built for a scripted video. You can also use it for unscripted, but in both cases, whenever you use it, just make sure that when you're recording, you are recording linearly, right? You say a line, then you say the next line. So the script is linearly recorded. If you are skipping between sections, that can mess it up a little bit, but it should still work. But always remember that it always keeps the last cut. So even if you select the 50 lines look ahead and you're skipping between takes, and you said one take at the start of the file, and then the same take you repeat it at the end of the file, and there's like a 50 word difference, 50 line difference between them, it will still keep the last and not keep the first one. So that's why we have the tolerance level of 5 lines, 10 lines. So you can basically adjust that, but just make sure that it's linear lines, one after the other. It works best.
Have we tested this on other languages? Would this seem
It will
to
mostly work, yes.
It should
Mostly.
work.
I'm not sure completely. I haven't tested on other languages, but from what I understand, like it should work.
Because where you built an algorithm on top of
Yeah,
to make
it's
sense
just text, right?
So it's just numbers making sense of text.
Yeah, correct.
Excellent.
I haven't tested it. I only tested with English, but it should work with other languages too. I can't like completely say that it'll work with every single language, but hey, Dan.
Doing good. Just picking up the new tidbits, loving what you're doing.
Excellent. Do you make scripted video, Dan?
So I do live online training, and I'm just speaking verbatim. Your cutting and the dead time is even more important to me since my courses are recorded live and the students watch it on replay. So it's more important than even a scripted video.
Excellent. Yeah, I just went through, and this is the thing. These features happen so fast, right? It's just so fast. That's the point. You throw this video in here, and I'm talking, look at all these bad takes that I've done, right? Typically it would have been cut up and you would have had to go through and hit back cut and up cut and all that kind of stuff and hold until you found your last best cut. But this one, we're talking at 91% accuracy. Once I ran UmCheck, Dan, this is what we got.
What's more important for me is that I have a bad habit of stating a question and then restating the question. So I'll ask a question, then I'll ask the question again. And what I noticed is that the app is able to get rid of that first question that didn't come wrong smoothly. So
with this run false start detection, I usually, when I'm speaking like a word tick, you say the same thing twice. It's almost like you don't even know that you said the same thing twice until it points it out so nicely in the transcripts. But that's how running the false start detection. And then once you do that, Dan, do you then, because did you say it goes on YouTube?
Well, I save it on YouTube, a private YouTube channel for my students. It gets embedded in their training material. Mm-hmm.
And have you noticed since you are running UmCheck for this, have you been using the SRT download option?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so once we have this data from the transcripts, you can just do a number of things with it as well. And specifically, you download your SRT file here. Once I do that, there's like 3 characters, I believe, right now, the way it's set, that shows where it's at in the sentence. So you have like token level timestamps that you can then upload to YouTube for SEO purposes that have punctuation, capitalization, and stuff like that. So if you were like, I can go in, open this up with a text app. And as you can see, if I wanted to make any type of changes or anything like that, look, see, and
Oh,
this is
yeah.
all punctuated. This would upload right into the captions portion of time with YouTube, and that definitely impacts SEO. I just think that they believe it just gives you more additional credibility that's put into that. And in here, I can actually like go in and say TimeBolt. We're gonna place with.
This is interesting because I'm the co-host of a radio talk show program every morning, every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. It's the #1 news talk station in Burlington, Vermont, Plattsburgh, New York, and Montreal. And what we're trying to figure out is how we can take our transcriptions of our daily talk shows and cut them down into better little chunks and remove the ums. And like I just told you, I asked a question twice. Get rid of that first time I asked the question. It's a bad habit of mine. And we're chunking it out to half-hour sections.
So there's two ways to look at it. Having this data right here, having this data like time stamped, what you can do now is take this, throw it into Chat GPT, and you can throw that into Chat GPT and say, give me timed token or time chapter values for YouTube chapters. If you're just going to keep it all together. If you didn't want to do that, if you were going to separate it into many chapters or many segments based, let's say you have an hour-long video here, what you would do is, are you aware of how to export clips as add chapter clips to render queue?
Yep.
So you can create the chapters and then do that, and it will actually render out as the individual chapter names. You're doing that already? Awesome. How's that feature working out for you?
It's working out great for us.
Excellent. And are on the first pass, are you going through and saying, okay, here's a line of demarcation. This is where I want to add a new chapter. You're doing that manually and stuff?
We're trying to get it by guest. So I have guests on the show for either an hour or half-hour segments. So we basically know the time block. We know that we're coming back at 7 minutes after the hour, and we're going to go to the bottom of half hour. So we know, forget what app they use, Future Media or something, but we can download that clip and fix it, right? And then get rid of all the dead time where a guest has paused or where I asked the second question on top of the first question. So we are able to significantly reduce that time clip. Okay. And we're using it for audio. We're less interested in the video. It works fantastic for the audio because then it gets posted to Spotify, gets posted to a Facebook, of course, Future Media. We just post it and send it.
I can't imagine.
The audio must be really fast, right? Just click the button and it just renders really quickly.
The WMV, I couldn't imagine also trying to read an hour and a half's worth of content in blocks of copy. Like, no. I couldn't imagine editing. Like, some of these competitors make it look so smooth and slick, but when you get all those, you get bad takes, ahs, you've got an hour and a half worth of unscripted video that you're trying to get through. It's a pretty big, it can be a nightmare without listening by sound. And
we just do it by sound because we're live on the radio, we're on AM and FM and on the web, and all the whole 3 hours is recorded. We know the guests when they came on and off, so we can time block it really quick, but then we don't have to spend any time getting rid of the dead space, and we're not worried about the video, so we don't have to worry about choppiness in that. It works great for the audio. That's all we need it for is the audio, actually.
Just the audio and being able to split and render it out by topics.
Yep, just like that. Easy.
I don't even actually know any other software that you can do that, render it out by topics. Like, there isn't one. Some of them will supposedly mark key scenes and stuff like that to create the shorts, but nothing to just break it out by topics. So I find that very helpful. I've done that before. That's how I make screen shares when I'm doing marketing stuff. I've got to be able to show these features working, and you do that. You eventually want to create GIFs. So I record with TimeBolt. I record the actual entire workflow with TimeBolt. I don't even save any audio with it. Okay. And then I just record the workflow. I throw it back in TimeBolt after it's recorded, cut out the parts where it's showing the action where I want to do. I can fast forward and do those things as well. And then render it even without audio and then throw it up as a GIF preview. Oh, but in that spot, I might have 3 different steps that I'm catching of that entire workflow, 3 minutes long cut. Okay. This is how you add the UmCheck file, add and delete an UmCheck file. This is how you run this particular feature. I then put it into chapters, and I've got 3 already cut clips ready to quickly upload to the free GIF maker and named, and everything's just so super fast. I don't think people understand, like, TimeBolt's just an app that's meant to be open on your computer to do pretty much anything you want. The first thing you do with video, whether it's capturing it, but cutting it down to something watchable.
And it's just equally as important in my case for the audio. So for instance, I have my governor, the governor of here in Vermont, I have him on my show every month. And like, he's on Wednesday and he's like, hey, can I get that audio clip? And we can clean it up. And he comes on for either a half hour, an hour. but we can get it down to a crisp audio clip that he can put wherever the hell he wants to put it.
I bet you he appreciates it. It doesn't even like his words obviously carry weight, but
Yep.
even if you do, like if people have to watch, they'll just get annoyed if they are forced to watch. But nobody wants that. Even if people have to watch, even if you're the boss of a company, you still want to come off as crisp and to the point, free, the type of stuff you watch on YouTube. So I think that really, in the business side of things, culture really starts at the top. And this is, I can't imagine what a high performance culture could do with quick video communications like this. And that's kind of really what where our next move is.
And we also we also speed it up. So we speed it up. If I give the clip to the governor, his name is Governor Scott, I'll speed it up because he talks so slowly. We'll speed it up 10% or something like that. So I just use TimeBolt to fix that, and it just takes care of it for us.
You use Turbo
mode.
Because he's a slow talker. We want to get a lot in quick. We take out all the dead time, right? We know where the clip is. We turbo it, send it to the governor.
That's awesome.
Brilliant.
Long live Turbo mode. That's definitely a TimeBolt exclusive. We appreciate you sharing your story, Dan. Are there any recommendations, questions that you have about TimeBolt today?
Nope. I just got home from the studio. I saw you guys were on. I just thought I'd hop on.
Nice. We always enjoy having you on.
The 120 FPS thing, but I don't know if that's relevant.
120 frames per second. Yes, yeah. we have a deal where we have a customer. We have salespeople that are out using TimeBolt, and they ask their customers to use. Let me pull this up. They tell their doctors, "Hey, listen, you need to make a video, interview your patients, get customer testimonials, and send it to your salesperson, and they will actually, or your business development rep, and they will actually put it into some watchable format." Well, those guys don't even know what they're doing, and they end up using something like Captions AI. And when they're talking about removing dead air, they try and do this inside of CapCut. Have you ever tried to remove dead air in CapCut?
I've had TimeBolt forever, so no.
You can just laugh in their face because what happens is there's no auto remove dead air in CapCut. It is literally every single piece of dead air. You have to click, check a thing, and approve, and then hit apply. Like 3 keyboard actions for every piece of dead air. And that doesn't even get all the dead air. I literally, to do this test, to simply pull out the information on this test, and CapCut ended up getting 41 seconds. So you're talking about leaving a whole lot of silences missed in simply a 93-second video. And that was after I didn't even count the time it took me to just hit okay. Like I just was like, okay, we'll just say it's automated. Okay. But CapCut missed a lot of time. So when it also, let's see, the filler missed time. So this was actually in the 60-minute file. So I did long form and short form tests. Short form, then long form benchmark test. That's quite a bit of fixed time compared to TimeBolt. That's 3 times. So if you think AI is good as it gets, removing dead air, filler words, and bad takes, you're going to be spending 3 times longer than necessary. And that's significant. This isn't the difference between 5 minutes and 30 seconds. This is a significant amount of time that you could be walking a dog or meeting somebody of the opposite sex or hanging out with your wife or something nice, hanging out with the kids. But you were talking about the 120 frame rate.
The recording that the doctors did was they had the setting in the iPhone, and in the iPhone they set the frame rate to 120 frames per second instead of like 30 or something. The videos were basically coming out in slow motion, and then the slow motion videos were being put into TimeBolt, and then the output was also slow motion. So people were complaining like, "Hey, why is this video slow motion?"
Because it goes in like this, and you can just frame rate's easy to tell. You can do like a Command I on Mac, and you can tell frames per second.
So did they have to put it through Turbo? Rerun it in Turbo?
No, they had to change the frame rate back to 30 or something less than 120. So
once you threw it into TimeBolt, okay, and you exported, you got this right here, right? So this is like the slow-mo piece of it, right? So it just goes like complete slow-mo. So people are like, oh,
drag both the handles to the start, and then you can just
Coleman. I'm a patient, Dr.
and that's
Schwartz,
fixed it.
and I'm a golfer.
Right.
So it's not a quick time thing. The way
it's just a quick time
to
thing,
handle
but as
120
Quincy
FPS
said,
files.
But if I uploaded this with the slow-mo included, it would keep the slow-mo. And
I don't think so.
In YouTube, it really alters the.
It doesn't depend on the file. It's a QuickTime thing. So whenever you load in a 120 FPS file or a very high frame rate file in QuickTime, it will give you that handle at the bottom, simply because QuickTime treats this as like a 120 slow-mo file, especially if it has the iPhone metadata on top of it. So it will check the iPhone metadata. It will check if it's 120 FPS, and then it will give you that handle.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. So this is only like, we just discovered this today. This is like specific behavior for QuickTime.
I'm checking my iPhone right now to make sure it's not on 120.
Yeah, 120. I don't know. This is a doctor taking a patient video. It all just kind of takes some practice.
Yeah, one good thing is that it doesn't mess up the file, but it's best to like not record at 120 FPS. Exactly. So the more frames per second, the larger the file, the more the hotter your phone gets, if you want to record for extended periods of time, your phone's going to get hotter. A bunch of issues.
I never knew it had a 120 frame rate. I'm looking at it right now. Got it. Oh, I had it on 4K, so let me get rid of 4K.
The reason we were surprised was because like usually this doesn't happen. Like most people, when they record with their iPhone, they have it set to like 30 FPS. So I don't know how it maybe a different mode.
You can select the frame rate. Like mine's set to 30 now. It's 30, 4K, but it's easily selectable. I just checked it. Make sure it's not 120.
Yeah, you also have a 24 option.
For scripted video, hey, boom.
So this is like a scripted video.
This is like entirely scripted. It's insane.
It doesn't miss a single thing in this.
Doesn't miss anything. Like, and that doesn't even give you like, this is like 100% accuracy. Gone.
Videos start with a cut, but they end with captions. Today, I'll show you how to export timestamped SRT files in TimeBolt so your videos aren't just watchable, they're searchable. Captions aligned perfectly with your edits, silence is gone, filler words cut, timing locked in. Our transcription engine, UmCheck AI, does cost money, just like any professional time-coded transcript, but here you're paying a few dollars, not 30. If you're paying for a higher tier in CapCut, Premiere, Final Cut, or Resolve just to unlock captions, you can stop that today. You'll see side by side the difference between a free and paid transcript. To generate an SRT, you want to run UmCheck. For unscripted video, UmCheck removes filler words, repeats, and also generates your SRT. You'll see how many credits it takes, how many you've got left, and where to purchase more if needed. Or once you're done editing, if it isn't, or if you don't need to check for filler words inside unscripted video because it's scripted.
Now, see, like I actually changed that out of script, right? But like, because I didn't know I was going to have this.
Yeah, you ad-libbed that part.
Remove retakes. Now that I even know, like these are all videos where I didn't know that we're going to have remove retakes. So I was jumping around. Some of my videos are just jacked. Okay, because I wasn't thinking, hey, get done with this and get this line perfect and then move on to the next. But the wizard here has figured out how to even work with some of the most difficult, janky files. But if you say something completely different, obviously it's not going to catch that. But the important thing is it didn't remove it, because if you need to keep it, you still can, right? Like the hard part would be is if you over removed content and you didn't know what you had to put back in, which is what we're working to avoid.
But yeah, that's why we have the keyboard shortcuts. Easily get through all this content.
It's just like, you're like, bam. So you can really focus in on like, I'm going to be doing punch values, stuff like that, adding any chapter markers. But again, after you get done, we have the most accurate timestamp SRT files money can buy. We use Amazon AWS Transcribe for that. So that's why our check costs money, because you can't get these types of free these types of transcripts with punctuated. Think about how much time it takes you. Even the punctuation, doing it for free in CapCut, like it takes forever. You not just like this nice little Word document that you go down and it's line by line, it's click in, click out, accept. That's the way it is with even the cuts. The thing that our tests don't measure for are the actual quality of the cuts themselves. If you just kind of do like raw output, let's check this out. These are just the automations run just like ours.
And Sean from Miami, the question is, if your deck puts them to
Do you see that?
This tool puts them in a
Yeah, cut out the
That's
is.
right, Loom. Okay, Sean, watchability for 600. A daily double.
See, like that shit's all, I'm sorry, that's all jacked up. Okay, you have to go back and fix that. Versus, so it's not just like, hey, we kind of got it. Do you really have it? Right? This is TimeBolt.
And Sean from Miami, the question is, if your deck puts them to sleep, this tool puts them in a coma. That's right, Loom. Okay, Sean, watchability for 600. A daily double. This software will make people disappointed to meet you in real life.
See how the absolute difference in cuts? And that's because of we pair the waveform cuts with the transcript technology. They just basically are doing waveform.
Software will make people disappointed to meet you in
Transcript.
real life. That's right. What is
TimeBolt. This tool is a lifesaver.
When you record a video, people lean in. Your words.
That's the new remove bad takes feature, and why it would be not smart to do it any place other than TimeBolt.
I tried it out, I think, a couple days ago, just stuttering and stammering along to see what it did. And then the double questions that I have a terrible habit of doing.
Were you terribly upset of having to set up a new account, or how did that work for you? How did buying the UmCheck credits work for you?
I don't have any problems. Yeah.
One of the great advantages of purchasing the UmCheck credits is that they don't run out. So you could, if you don't produce as much one month, or you do a little bit less or do more, like you'll always have those. They're not going to run out on you, and you're not paying for time that you're not using. Sometimes you don't make as much content in a month, or you make extra content. You're just not paying for higher tier plans to accommodate for 1 month.
We're going to figure out how, I need to figure out how we're going to use more of this. And like I said, we're just using the audio. It just saves us a lot of time on the audio. A lot of the recording studios don't have it. And then we have a monthly session with Fox News guy, Jimmy Fela, and he goes back and forth and stuff like that. And it cuts it up nice.
Excellent. If anybody else, Quincy, do you have any additional?
No, I'm good.
Questions? Thanks, guys.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. He asked that question. I think you already answered that in chat. It
Yep,
does.
I did.
We're believing it does going to work with multiple languages. I hope Ali comes back and tells us how it works for him. We're definitely very interested in that, or let us know in chat. We appreciate you all choosing TimeBolt.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, take care.
That's it for this episode of TimeBolt. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course the notification bell when we go live, and we're out of time. Thank you.